Guys, this is just a really quick chat video, and it's not about K-pop, so if you're here for that, I'm sorry. This is about something different. So today on the news, I heard that Juan Gabriel died, and I knew him from a time period in my life when I lived in El Paso, Texas, which is the westernmost town in Texas, and it is literally across the street or across a bridge from Mexico, the city of Juarez. And Juarez is the town where Juan Gabriel got his big start at. And so for me, growing up in El Paso at the time that I did, Juan Gabriel had already been a celebrity for at least 20 years, and his music was just known everywhere. Like, when you walk into restaurants in El Paso, there'll be like a lot of posters and stuff at the entrance across from the cash register, and you would see at least one of his pictures or posters in every restaurant. You could be walking down the street and at least one car would be playing his music. You'd go into stores, you could hear his music in the stores. Like, he was a big deal because the people in that area loved him. But overall, people who listen to Mexican music loved him. People who listen to Spanish music loved him because he was a big influence for people like Marc Anthony, who does salsa. But Marc Anthony credits him with like being the turning point in his career. So, I mean, he was a huge influence. And hearing that he died today, it reminded me a lot of like my teen years in El Paso. It reminded me of when Selena died. Not that they're at all similar events, but because I was in high school when Selena died, and I remember being at the bus stop when the news came out, and all the girls at the bus stop like crying and hugging each other because we were all so shocked that this had happened. I was taking a modern dance class at the time, and we were dancing to Si Una Vez as part of our class project. And so like Selena was on my mind every day because I'm trying to get these dance steps and I couldn't get it right. So yeah, like it was just a lot of memories of childhood and times long ago, and just a lot of different things came to mind, and it really took me on a nostalgia road back. But it also made me think of what a blessing musicians are in the lives of the people who listen to their music. Now, when I listen to music, I'm pretty indiscriminate. Like, there's certain styles of music I don't really like, but when it comes to like what language the music is in, I don't really care as long as the person who's singing has got a great voice, as long as the music behind that voice is easy to listen to or to dance to or to hum to or to lose yourself into. Other than that, that's all I care about, really and honestly. And I never thought of myself as being an international music person, but moving to El Paso after kind of being exposed to English language music all my life, that really opened me up to the possibilities of listening to music in different languages. And that opened me up to the possibility of accepting K-pop, of looking past the language and getting into the artistry and the music itself, and really seeing the similarities and the commonalities between artists of every genre rather than seeing what sets them apart. Yes, when it comes to style and vocal technique, those things do set an artist apart, but every artist cares about the story. Every artist cares about the melody. Every artist cares about being able to communicate the message to you, whatever the message happens to be. And that is something that I have to thank Juan Gabriel for, because he was a part of my international music education. And even though I never bought any of his albums, even though I never spent time looking up his music that often, he still is a part of my musical education. And it made me very sad to hear that he had passed away. Also, on a kind of more personal note for me, when I was in high school, I had a friend named Robert, and after we left high school, like a few months after we left high school, he came out as gay. And I remember he was like, I don't know what to do, my family's really against it, none of our other friends have come out, and I need somebody to talk to. And at the time, The Real World was on MTV a lot, and so they would talk about LGBT issues, and one of the things that was mentioned on television was gay community centers. So I told Robert, I said, you need to find the local gay community center, and that's where you need to go and make friends. And so he went to the local one in El Paso, and they had a youth group, and he joined the youth group because at the time he was still under 20, and he made some great friends there. And a lot of the guys there Juan Gabriel was somebody that they would talk about, not because he had come out as gay, but because Juan Gabriel was like this open secret to a lot of people. Like, they knew he was gay. He never had to say it. Just, it was what it was. But a lot of those kids, for them, Juan Gabriel was a sign of hope, because a lot of those kids came from families that did not accept who they were, and in a lot of the cultures that I was exposed to during that time in El Paso, masculinity and lack of emotion and definitely homosexuality it was frowned upon to be gay. It was frowned upon to be seen as feminine. It was frowned upon to be seen as soft. And the fact that Juan Gabriel was so accepted by so many people who were very hardcore and didn't accept anything else gay gave the kids hope in a way, because they thought, well, maybe if my family can open up to this person being the way that they are, maybe somehow or another I can get them to open up to me. And it was also encouraging to them that despite his sexual preference, he was adored, he was loved, and it made them feel like, they still had value, that being gay wasn't the be-all and end-all of their existence, that they were more than that, that they might be gay, but they're also a nurse, or they're also an artist, or they're also, a receptionist, or whatever else. They're more than just their sexuality. They're a full person. And artists like Juan Gabriel, artists like Freddie Mercury, that's what they do for people. Like, outside of the gift of the art that they give us their lives, and the way that they live their lives are powerful statements for a lot of people. There are a lot of people whose minds get changed by having such a large familiar presence, because there's a lot of people who will tell you, I don't know anybody who's this, or I don't know anybody who's that. But if they watch television or they listen to music, and that person is that thing that they say they don't know anything about, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it will make people say, okay, I can actually get with that. Or I have so much admiration for that person that, if I can accept them being who they are, then maybe I can accept somebody else being who they are. So in a lot of ways, not only is Juan Gabriel somebody I need to thank for helping me with my international music education, but I really would like to thank him for what he did in helping those kids back then feel like someday they could be accepted. I don't communicate with any of those people now. Like, it's been so long, almost 2 decades. I don't know any of those people. I don't know what they're doing now. I don't know where they are. But I hope that the inspiration and the aspiration that he gave those kids, that something positive came out of that. And I really thank him for being himself and not trying to butch himself up to get people to accept him, or try to, find some woman to marry to get people to accept him, in order for him to be who he is. It's a much more powerful thing that the world knew him for who he was, rather than what the world demanded that he be. And so I'm sad to hear the news. I'm heartbroken for, the people who love him, but I feel really blessed that I knew of him before he passed, and I'm really blessed to have known of kind of the legacy he left in the world, so yeah, that's why I say this was not a K-pop chat at all. This was just a chat about, something that touched my heart today. And I really hate that, he passed away as suddenly as he did. He hadn't been sick for long. Like, he had just had a performance, and I think he had a heart attack, I think is what they said. But yeah, he did a lot in this world. He did a lot more than a lot of people do. So, bless him. All right, guys, that was my chat. I'll talk with you later. Bye.